Is anybody in dire need of hearing a harmonica? Well, thank God. You were gonna hear it anyway. This song is called Where Is the Love? Chalk. It's not a pie, yeah, babe, it's still alive. Enough for my heart, my mind to agree. It's swallowing blades now, babe, it's like being with me. And this isn't the first time that I've come between you and a sane life. Now that please agree, and I don't deserve you. To me you're a queen. I've watched you tame lions without baring your teeth.
blackberries on his daddy's farmland. Her feet turn purple, her lips were stained blackberry kisses.
You have to, you have to convince everybody that you're worth coming out to see, and then you have to keep doing it over and over and over again. And then if you do too many shows, nobody comes out. You're like, well, I'll play more, give people more opportunity to see me, and then you ask any musician in town, they'll say, oh well, Monta's playing Friday, he's playing Saturday, and I'll catch him then. Saturday night rolls around, oh, he's playing next Sunday, I'll go see him then. And then Sunday rolls around, they're like, I'm tired, I'm not gonna go see anything. And there's a lot of other things going on. There's football games, there's other bars, restaurants, plays, other bands. And you have to work your tail off to convince people to say no to all that other stuff. Say no to Ohio State football and come out to the treehouse and see my band Saturday night. They get there, they have to find the treehouse or the Woodlands or Shrunken Head or wherever they're going. They have to find it, they have to find parking, then they have to get in, then they have to be faced with the choice to pay a cover or not. And then if they do pay the cover, they have to buy drinks, and then they have to decide whether or not they're going to sit through the whole thing. It's like it's just non-stop obstacles just to get an audience. And I mean, you break it down like that, it's pretty funny, but as an indie musician, it takes a lot of work.
When you're in Columbus, if you want to go hear music, it's not always that easy. You have to drive to the venue, you have to pay a cover, you have to know where the music is just to even get a taste of it. So it can be a challenge, because if you want to hear 3 or 4 bands in one night, you can't just walk down the street. You have to actually get in your car and drive around and know what you're doing.
It is a blessing and a curse, because you have to constantly be flipping your mind back and forth to one or the other. You can't really revel or relish in one or the other. You know what I mean? I have a fantastic show where I'll be having a blast, and people are having a great time, I'm having a great time, and it's these constant little things. You're like, do I have to mention something I'm selling? Do I have to mention an email list? Do I have to mention these things that are going to keep, whatever's going on? Can I count on the people to come find me if they like it? It's that constant struggle between these things, and this business thing, I think it plagues all of us. It makes us think we're not doing enough. It's that overwhelming feeling, when you're that same feeling you get when you're feeling lazy and you're like, man, I shouldn't be doing this. I feel like crap. Why am I sitting here? It's that same kind of feeling that comes out when you're like, am I not making the right moves in business-wise? What am I doing? You can drive yourself absolutely insane.
It's not easy. And you gotta, not want a lot. You're not gonna have, we didn't have $300 car payments,
Along the lines of creating something out of nothing, you don't have Sony with all their media outlets and radio stations just presenting you and saying, this is the guy you want to listen to because he's awesome. You have to work to play in front of as many people as you can, and out of those people convince somebody that you're worth coming back to see. And it takes a lot of time, and it can be really, really discouraging. And there was a moment, brief moment, when I started into just doing my own stuff, where I was like, I was frustrated, and I was like, I grabbed my guitar. It was at the open mic. I grabbed my guitar. I walked out, and I was in my head. I was thinking, I'm never gonna do this again. I'm done.
Nobody's trying to nurture anything. They just want immediate satisfaction, gratitude. They just want these immediate things, and it has a lot to do with, it reflects our culture in a lot of ways. It's just this rapid stimuli, that you just need it right now, you need now. And, I thank God that when I was young, I I had somewhat of a good work ethic, you know, because it kind of stuck with me. It was like, it's unrealistic. You can believe that people are born with things all you want and that things can come like that and it's just immediate, you know, but it's not. You know, anything in life it's just, you know, everyone knows it's this whole big journey that you're going through, and it takes work to get things, you know, and this just happens to be, you know, someone like me or whatnot. This is my medium, you know, this is what I do, this is music, and I work hard at it, and it comes out on the other side. And I think, as far as the industry goes, I think that they just, maybe people that were looking to nurture people, maybe they just got too exhausted, and they sold something off, you know, they were like, well, I end up working a long period of time and get something awesome, or I can get that same awesomeness, what I think, in, you know, a third of the time.
Gotta stay away now from the time. Sometime very soon, allow your mind to be the driver. Think of how you want it to start from here, riding like a rabbit until thoughts become more clear. Oh, 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 oh. Come for me, I'm lost at sea. Come for me, I'm lost.
If you saw me 4 years ago, back in '06, I had very short hair and probably a suit on and tie and carrying a briefcase going to capture that next appointment. And during the travel times around Central Ohio, I'd hit different coffee shops and venues and stuff, and then when I'd get home, I'd whip off my suit and grab my acoustic guitar and start playing, and I started thinking, boy, that coffee shop today that I was at would have been very cool if it had like everything you needed for someone just to come in and plug in and play, and let guys like me that have, you know, had a season raising a family and now they want to get back into some art and guitar work and stuff. And then a place where young people like my son could get on stage where they haven't had experience elsewhere, you know, sort of like a springboard to get to some of the other venues in town. And basically with that thought process, talking it over with my family, you know, week after week, they said, well, why don't you quit talking about it and just do it, Dad? So I did. But it's been an awesome adventure, meeting a lot of, you know, musicians, raw and excellent musicians, that whole spectrum from 10 years old to 80 years old. You know, we've had young recital people in here on up to the old guys in the Columbus Harmonica Club guys in here, you know, and all sorts of bands in between, blues, jazz, rock, pop, singer-songwriter stuff, and that's mostly what I try to foster, is the creativity with singer-songwriters.
I wanted to find a musical home, a place where I could hone my craft, you know, because I was practicing in my room for 3 hours a night, 4 hours a night, and then you get in front of people and it's a different dynamic. Even though I grew up on a stage, it's just, you lose that over time. And Eric was one of those guys that said, yeah, come on out. And the first time I played there, I drew like 2 people. It was, I mean, and the place was dead because, you know, I was like the first person or whatever. And, you know, and I talked to Eric, and, you know, we just leveled with each other, and he gave me some ideas, and I promised him, I said, you know, when I come back, give me one more chance, and I'll bring more people. And I came back the next time, I think I had like 15 or 20, you know, and then ever since then, you know, he and I have just had a really good relationship, working one where, you know, when I was looking for artists for the group, he's one of the first guys I called, because I know that he has his pulse on the good artists in town.
All right, guys, let's give a nice round of applause for Bream. He's our first performer this evening. After Bream, we have Mark Stoll on deck, Shohei, Zog Unit, and then Susan Hartman. We're just going to keep it to 15-minute sets, so however you want to use your 15 minutes, do it. I will be floating around and give you a signal if you've gone too long. I wish I had a river, but I can't skate away.
Just to make them, I will finish terms with you, just to make them run.
That ability to perform and see a piece of art created and executed in such a short amount of time, you know, being able to see that end result so quickly is really, I think, what is most satisfying as an artist. You know, you can write scripts, you can paint pictures, you can play guitar in your bathroom, but you know, you can write 1,000 songs in your bathroom, but if you're not playing them to anybody, I think as an artist you don't feel as gratified. And so you get this opportunity to execute your work, and you get the opportunity to express yourself in a way that you don't get to express yourself during a normal day at the office, day at the grocery store, walking your dog, and for one moment, if it's 3 minutes, you're talking to an audience in a medium that you have control of. You're at work, you have a supervisor. The supervisor tells you what to do, you do what the supervisor says. Now, when you're a musician, you have a stage. The audience sits in front of the stage, and the artist goes in front of the audience. Now, whether they choose to listen or not is another thing, but as the artist, you have control of that venue, and you have an opportunity to present yourself. You have an opportunity to present your work, and none of the institutional or societal constraints. I mean, they're there, but you can have more freedom with it.
It's one of those open stages where I didn't want to put a lot of rules on it. I just wanted to say, you know, you get 15 minutes. You can do whatever you want. You can play drums, you can play your bass, you can bring your accordion, you can... Someone brought a yo-yo once and a kazoo.
Columbus has such a wide variety of people. It's, you know, it's probably from the schools like OSU, Otterbein, Wesleyan. You know, you get all these schools together with the artsy departments. Capitol, you know, they've got a great music program, and there's such a cross of people and diversity that there's no shortage on a variety of music and musicians in Columbus. It's all over the place. When I first started this place, I said to myself, I have to be intentional about meeting people in the music community in Columbus, and I have met a lot, but the more I meet, the more I realize I don't know.
I moved down to Columbus, wasn't doing music, and then came to the epiphany, okay, I need to get back into doing music. So I started meeting people around town, and really my search was, I wanted to find, you know, I'm from Detroit, so there's a network in Detroit, right? You know, there are artists who have built a local fan base, and then built a regional fan base, and then built a national fan base. And we looked long and hard at Columbus, and what I came back with was, there is so much talent in this town that I think there has to come a point where we reach critical mass.
What brings me to Columbus, Ohio was primarily music under the guise of school. You know, I was getting ready to graduate high school before I moved here, and I wanted to continue playing with, you know, the members of the Floorwalkers, and I knew those guys had moved down like maybe 8 or 9 months before me, because, you know, I was the youngest in the band, so they could pretty much leave whenever they wanted. They'd all graduated, and Carrie wanted to move down here for college, and I wanted to go to college, so I figured it would be perfect to go to school down here. I mean, the music scene in Cleveland had been changing drastically, and I just wanted to change the scenery.
Columbus just has everything that a city could need or could want. I've lived in a number of cities around the country, and some of them are proclaimed to have amazing things happening in them, and I don't find them so amazing because they cherish different things that make them amazing, you know?
I mean, I moved to Columbus. I didn't grow up here. I didn't know anyone outside the guy down the hall in my dorm who played guitar, and he just wanted to play Fish songs.
I always remind people that Columbus is the 16th largest city, I believe, in the country, and because of that, I think we have a younger sort of draw of people that keep coming in, as well as the older people that have been doing it for a while. So there's this standard of excellence that seems to be constantly met by young and old, and it's a community. It's a really tight community of people, and it's a blessing because it seems like everywhere you go, you know so many musicians that are talented in their own right. You know, maybe they're a rock musician, maybe they're a bluegrass player, maybe they're a jazz player, but they're all willing to kind of support each other.
But I think I'm in Columbus because of all the options. You know, there isn't just one route, and there's a ton of people with all different kinds of ideas in different routes. And I think that is a, you know, creative thinker. I think that satisfies and that suits me in that way. Because ultimately that's what it's about. It's about the art. You know, it isn't about the end result of the art, what you're going to get from it. You know, I think it's a really nice time because there's a lot of people, not only in music, but in so many of the different fields in this town that are all kind of on the same page, that are really just rolling around in the awesomeness of that freedom.
It was a long learning process on who to work with, you know, where to go, what nights to be at certain places, what bands should you check out, and finding, you know, for lack of a better term, resources to do what you want to do.
pretty well.
Okay.
There's definitely a jump in the last few weeks. Actually, last month leading up to Christmas, so it's been going pretty well, actually. I think it's going to be a good Christmas for a lot of people. Snow on the ground, you know, seems like a traditional Christmas, and when the economy's a little tough sometimes, people, I think they do want to hear music and enjoy the holidays, so hopefully we'll contribute to that.
Here I am at the end of my world. My explanations will never come close to let you know that I've loved what I've had. Make it true by playing my game. And these are the days I'm to my accidental lies, I made it hard to come right through, and I'm not allowed to love things I find unkind. I think I made myself unclear once again.
Columbus doesn't have a generic name put on it, like Nashville has honky tonk, and you know, different cities like that have their kind of thing that they're known for. So that's, I think it as an advantage in Columbus, at least not in my brain, that we don't have anything that kind of puts us in a box. So people are allowed to do what they want, and they do it, and there's good music in every scene.
The last couple decades, there's always been movements of music that are kind of super popular, like the 90s was the grunge movement, and the 80s was the hair band and the pop, you know, that kind of hair band and pop thing going on. And the 2000s, what was that? You know, I think it became the decade of...
The indie decade.
The indie musician, because the record labels kind of went away, and then you start to see all this just diversity, like Chris said, diversity in all this music. So I think that diversity and all this youth kind of coming up, and now we have this whole generation, now that it's end of 2010, 2011, that have grown up in that whole decade. So they're used to this diversity, and they, you know, they're not a group of people that were brought up in maybe the 90s like me, or the 80s. And I think that helps a lot. I think the fact that there's so much diversity really cultivates and creates and inspires. You know, the more diverse, the more inspiration, the more, I just think, greater the scene is. You know,
I think I've heard over the years some grumblings by musicians who feel like they can't make a living here, and I respect that and understand that. But I also feel like there's opportunity for you, coming from somebody who, you know, has been fortunate to have opportunities. I think there's opportunities for people to kind of do their dream, and And if it's a good dream, and it's a dream that really works, it will hopefully inspire other people. And you know, you get next thing you know, you're not going to work alone every day. You've got an army of people here.
I am a very strong businesswoman. I think I've always been, respected in the music scene, and then I started this production company with Listening Lamp, and Listening Lamp Productions kind of opened the door to me to that next level of, we're doing events, we're doing festivals, we're doing Earth Day, we're doing Confest, we're doing Independence Day Festival, we're doing lineups with, 12, 15 different acts, and that's a hard thing to accomplish. There's a fine oiled machine. It takes a lot of people to make that happen. So I started to really be so direct with people, like, this is what we need, this is what we need you to do, and keep it real. And you don't have to be mean to people. You just say, this is what I need, and then be gracious with it. Thank you so much for helping me, and always do that follow-up. There's
a lot to balance. You have a band with 5 people. There's 5 different schedules. People have jobs. People have families. People have pets. School. You name it. There's so many things that are going on outside of the music. And finding that balance is incredibly difficult. It's not like you're like, they cut your hair and put you in the jeans and say, here are the 4 guys you're playing with, and then they send you out and that's all you do. You can't do that. You have to. There's a lot of finagling with schedules and, well, are we going to get paid? Is anyone going to show up? How are we going to promote this? Whereas, if you're in an industry, you have people doing all that stuff for you.
Unfortunately, not too many original artists can make a living here anymore. I fortunately came through that time period as an original artist where I was really working a lot, and I was making really decent money doing my material. I would throw in covers. I was not hired because I was a good cover band.
As far as music goes, we work super hard at music, and the only way to get successful on the way that the world is telling us that we can be successful is to also be just as good at the business side of it. I understand you have to have both in order to be just a regular person in the world in general, but you have to excel in business as much as you excel in music, which, at the same time, that's so overwhelming, at least for me, that it's like, I don't find business even remotely as interesting as the music part of it.
What I don't like is that you're asking me questions I haven't really thought about.
Well, we ain't gonna mess around with them industry kings, even though we know the reasons why all them blackbirds sing. When I have a gunfire echo down the hillside, it don't tell no sorry tales, like the time the things that your mother owned all went up for sale, and we all gotta bite the bullet sometime. Yeah, we all gotta bite the bullet sometime.
I think what the do-it-yourself movement, one of the things it'll really do, and I don't really see it as an ending thing, I just see it as kind of a shift in the way that people do things. I think what it's going to do is put it out there in a very forefront way that there is other ways to do things. That that you do not have to buy into the one way or two that's been set up in the past.
And if we can do what we love with who we love to do it with and earn a decent living doing that, that's success for us.
We can dress how we want to dress. We can sing what we want to sing. We can put whatever instruments we want to put in our band. If we want to have a cello on a blues song, we put a cello on a blues song. And there's no one that says you can't do that. It's not in your image. It's not who you are. It won't sell.
The dynamic of the Carmels is cool too, because we'll look at each other during songs. We're not afraid to look at each other with that intensity and smile and remind ourselves, this sounds good. We like this, you know?
And I think that with the DIY versus the label thing, I mean, I think that the DIY mentality is to say, you know, let's be successful and find as many ways as we can to do it without anybody, any big brother looking over us or big business saying, hey, we're going to be the middleman and we're going to be, you know, we're going to take 90% of everything you do or whatever that percentage may be. You know, we want to own that creativity that we have. We're the ones putting all the money in the beginning to make it happen, and, you know, when we are living for very little.
But then what happens is that all of a sudden you have to balance all the rights that they're getting, all the money that they're getting, all these things, and you say, would I rather go down this journey, have someone take care of it, and kind of be screwed either way? Or would I just rather say, screw that guy, I'm just going to continue on my journey? Because it's almost a lose-lose situation, you know? And you can get a little bit of a win when you're doing it yourself.
And I get asked this a lot from people, you know, how do you get a gig? How do you do this? How do you make a living doing your music? And, you know, that's something that, yeah, you need to start when you're young, because, boy, you got to have the passion, you got to be hungry enough, you've got to have that drive and that endless energy.
You know, there needs to be an outlet for people to express their creativity, and sometimes, especially with singer-songwriters, you can kind of like take a transparent look into their heart when you hear their songs, and that's just so cool because it's the passion, you know, that they have.
Close at the floor. Oh, it's quiet here. We've been working, but the working now is done. Oh, I kiss your ear. You're breathing slow. Because you know you're safe with me tonight. Come close to it. 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 My skin reflects the light of the candles die. I've been waiting for the chance to hold you tight. Oh, we drink romance. We're breathing hard. We're pounding hard. Come close to it. Come close to it. Come
just as a musician, I think there's something that calls us, you know, that it's ingrained in us like a fingerprint, you know, and no matter how hard we try to ignore that or to sidestep it, you know, I don't think we're ever truly satisfied unless we're pursuing that. And I've met other people, you know, where their calling is accounting or videography or, you know, carpentry, and it's kind of the same thing. You know, I don't think that's something that's unique to artists. I just think as artists, we're sort of prone to dig a little deeper into the things of the heart, whereas, you know, I spent a lot of time in the corporate world, and they do everything they can to keep you as far away from the heart as possible because the mind is where all the money is, you know.
A story ain't worth telling if it ain't got a point, and a song ain't worth singing if it ain't got a story.
Cigarettes and whiskey and spray-painted walls, the out-of-order toilet making puddles in the hall. As soon as I was born, I was rock bottom at the fall. If opportunity ain't gonna knock for me, it sure as hell ain't gonna call. But we could be small town kings with 2 wheels and an engine on the back of devil's wings. Oh, we could be small town king, drunk and disheveled in the back of a police cruiser. The old small town hero's just a pill-popping boozer. And it's a hard ride to heaven looking up from the sewers, when from above you're just looking like another small town loser. But we could be small town kings with 2 wheels and an engine on the back of devil's wings. Oh, we could be small town kings.
Monta, you know, has a lot of visuals in his lyrics, and when you create a vision like that in your lyrics, that's creativity, and just to keep doing it, you know, because you want to do it, you have that creativity, and there's an outlet to do it. That's passion, you know. You're not doing it for the money necessarily.
I think of myself kind of, you know, as a poet first and a songwriter second. Because the songwriting is just kind of the structure for it, you know. But the words are what I have control over.
My main inspiration, I've always told myself I am a songwriter. I am always going to be a songwriter. If I'm not the one performing the songs someday, that's totally cool by me. I picture myself eventually being more of a producer end of it and having a studio where people can come and say, I'm new, what do I do? You know, and I have a good enough background in songwriting and playing a variety of instruments to kind of, I think, direct anybody to what maybe they should be doing.
When it comes to making music you're happy with, it's really, you know, that's tough. That's a tough one for me, because I've never really thought about it.
Okay, let's keep things on schedule. It's 7:30. The party is officially starting right here over on the mistletoe stage. So if you feel so inclined, swing your honey over here and give her a peck on the cheek. Please welcome Anna and the Consequences. Christmas time and cheer, happiness and cheer, fun for all the children call their favorite time of year. Santa Claus, Santa Claus, listen to my plea. Oh, Santa Claus, to the boys silent, born in Bethlehem. He was born in Bethlehem. Santa was much too thin. Didn't come down the chimney. Mama must let him in. Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Daddy looked a lot like him. Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Daddy looked a lot like him.
Hey everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, let's just celebrate it together here tonight. All right, everybody, via hillbilly music. Joe, you gotta go, me oh my oh. You gotta go, for the hero down the bayou. My bones with this one, me oh my oh. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Well, jambalaya, crawfish pie, chili gumbo. For tonight I'm gonna be my sheriff, me oh. They'll think they call, they'll do John and the Neal. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou.
Merry Christmas, Columbus.
Don't reach for the clouds. There ain't no cry for the soul. Water don't try to get the bottom of things. It's mixed up with a bunch of void. So what do you get for your love? All cold you can never tame. Dries you where your dark clouds must fit. Your love must fall like rain.
The combined musical aggregate, Oswald the Herringbones with Throat Culture.
You know, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most righteous reindeer of all? Bow, ba-doo, ba-doo, dang-a-dang-a-dang, bow, ba-doo, ba-doo. Dang-a-dang-a-dang, bow, ba-doo, ba-doo. Dang-a-dang-a-dang, bow, ba-doo, ba-doo. Dang-a-dang-a-dang, bow.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose.
Rudy, Rudy,
And if you ever saw it, you would even say close.
Rudy, Rudy.
Now all the other reindeer used to laugh and call their names.
Oh, weenie, weenie,
They never let poor Rudolph play any reindeer games.
Rudy, Rudy, then one foggy Christmas Eve.
A rude one with your nose so bright. Oh, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
And all the reindeer loved him, they shouted out with glee.
Yippee, yippee, bow.
The red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. The red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history.
Rudy, Rudy, then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, a rude one with your nose so bright. Oh, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Rudy, Rudy,
No Dasher and Dancer, Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Vixen, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Donner and Vixen, Dasher and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Donner and
Rudy, Rudy.
Angels sing.
what's really exciting about it is when you get a chord progression or a line or maybe both, and it just comes together, and it's something that you want to hear, it's something that you want to say, it's something that best case scenario other people want to hear. And when you solve that little riddle and all those pieces fit, it's an amazing feeling. It's it's like hitting the winning shot in a basketball game.
I never wrote a song and thought, man, once this song gets me where I want to go, I'm done.
Yeah.
No, we're compelled to write. We're compelled to be creative.
That's why you want to do it, then.
That's all you want to do. I mean, it's so simple, but it's true. I mean, it's all I want to do, all I feel comfortable doing. I've done a lot of other things, and I always come back to music. I majored in music for a while and kind of walked away from it and tried to start a new career path because I thought that was something in the past, and it comes back and it hits you and you don't even know it. And I just think it's such a good way of expressing yourself, and certain people just need that. I don't know why it is. I need it. I need to be able to. It's great therapy. It's great. So many things.
And it connects you to people
and builds good relationships.
I like going to different places and meeting new people and making their day a little bit more cheery.
I feel like something about music really fulfills me. It is my passion. I've always enjoyed to perform. When I was younger, I was really into theater, so it's that kind of pushed over into music, I think, too. And it's just something where it's kind of therapeutic to me, and I need it. So it's something I just kind of feel really drawn to do. If I was doing something else, I don't think I would be very passionate about it.
If I could have it my way, the entire world would pick up an instrument, and we, instead of talk to each other, we'd sing to each other.
As songwriters, we find inspiration and motivation from life, from whatever it is, whatever your life consists of, but doing things, along your life's journey.
I just love to write. I could see myself really just writing. Because a lot of people have told me that I write pop songs, which isn't really that insulting to me. Like, a lot of the songs I write, they get stuck in your head, and I have no problem with that. Like, I think you would want to hear it again. It's not to the point where you're annoyed with it. It's just that you know the words. You can hear what I'm singing about. It's typically a song that's not sad and offensive, or I try and write songs that are generally a great message, or just about life, or tell a story that it's not so it kind of breaks the age barrier.
I think Sheryl Crow said it, didn't she, when she said, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad?
What was the original question?
We sing our praises to old Barrington, to the best school here in Arlington. We'll do our best for dear old Barrington to keep our school on top. We try to be on top in every way, show respect in classrooms every day. So hold your head up high and shout hooray for Barrington.
Keep my heart at bay, steel frames, but what is past anymore? I'm fracturing my time to only gain some peace of mind in the end. Looking out at all that lies before, I find my shadow empty. Conquer all my fears, find some way, let the world disappear. Push my love away, leaves me wandering alone. But the darkness will not cover me. Start to make it on my own. Will I come back for more? Oh no, don't leave me behind. Just wanna belong. I'm just trying to breathe, free of control. I gotta let it all be. Oh, gotta let it all go. I stand out in the open resolve of what I know. Push my hate and fear back, oh, to where my world can go. Oh, I'm just standing still in this complicated world, oh, to survive. Here I am, the evil one. All I know, all I feel can be. As I push my love away, leaves me wandering alone. But the darkness will not cover me. To make it on my own. I'll come back for more. Oh no, oh don't leave me behind. I just wanna belong. I'm just trying to breathe, I'm free of control. Gotta let it all be. Oh, gotta let it all go. Oh, when I come back for more. Oh, don't leave me behind. Oh, I'm just trying to breathe. I'm just trying to be. Oh, free of control. Oh, and free of the pain. Oh, I gotta let it all be. Oh, no, I gotta let it all go.
Right here in Columbus alone, there are hundreds of local bands, and the road to stardom never comes for some of them.
But as Cheryl Sheets reports now, one of those bands said, I want my MTV, and they're getting it tonight.
Back in the day, if you're talking specifically about the music scene in Columbus,
everybody played top 40 or some version of it, and we would go to places and ask to play, and the owners of bars and such would say, you have to play top 40, you know,
or covers.
Or covers, yeah, and the word was out that that's generally what you had to do.
There were a few original bands in Columbus, but these are underground bands that played essentially at Bernie's, really.
Right, which is truly underground.
Yeah,
I mean, actually, where the name probably comes
But most bands, it was the time of cover bands. So
Yes.
yeah, playing original music was, you know,
right.
It was underground.
The attitude was kind of like, you know, from other bands and such at the time, was that there was sort of a, you know, this is the way to do it, and doing, you would do covers all night long, and you might slide in one or two original tunes. We're playing the Drake Union weekly, and that's WEAKLY. we were playing there every week, and we kind of built the following there. And Neal and I would go out and we'd hit the Oval,
yeah,
and we'd surround the pretty girls and play a guitar on either side of them and sing these love songs to them, and then say, oh yeah, by the way, we're playing tonight at such and such and so and so. And try and get them down there. And then, of course, when you get the good-looking ladies to come, then the guys come to the shows because the good-looking women are there.
Maybe we can hire them on election day, too.
Yeah, good sound, good sound. That's Eyewitness News Tonight. Thank you for being with us.
We'll show you 6 unsigned bands.
We kind of saw it as like, if somebody in the Columbus scene makes it big, everybody's going to make it big. We can kind of pump this place out like, you know, Tin Pan Alley or whatever, that kind of thing in the 60s. And we really had a hope for Columbus with that kind of thing going on.
First up tonight, we've got a band from Columbus, Ohio. They are called Oswald and the Herringbones. Last year, they beat out 64 other local bands to win a Rock Wars competition. Tonight, you decide how they do when we open up the voting lines. So here, featuring Michael Barone, Tom Boyer, Neal Havener, and Steven Sims, here they are, Oswald and the Herringbones, with a song called Be By Yourself.
The reincarnation or whatever, the coming back to the band at this point, that's the joy of it, is that it makes you feel young again, that you kind of almost like pick right up where you left off as far as memories and friendships and things like that. And I personally become more sane by being around these guys. I am also a father of 6 children. I am also a radio
6
person.
different states.
Yeah, radio personality or a youth minister or whatever I'm doing as far as my job goes, that kind of thing. And those things can be real stressful and drive you one way or the other, that kind of thing. But when you get together with these guys, I think most dudes our age will have like a bowling league or go golfing or whatever, that kind of stuff together once a week. You know, coming over here to Neal's house on Thursdays and practicing for me keeps me sane. It really literally keeps me sane.
Videos from 6 unsigned bands and asked you to call up and vote for the one you liked the best. So, here's how the votes stacked up. Congratulations to this month's winners, and don't forget that the video will be featured for the next 4 weeks in a row on 120 Minutes.
And then there's always the outside chance, and I love this because like Neal always harasses me about this, but I'm the eternal optimist about it.
We're going to be rich and famous.
We are. You know, because if Justin Bieber can do it, come on. I mean, you know.
Because we're just like Justin Bieber.
Exactly. All right, seriously. The issue of being known, I think, is a matter of distribution and who gets a chance to see you or whatever. So I think the songs, to me, a lot of the songs are fairly timeless. And we even had people at the show the other night that came up to us and said, you know, music's as a overall thing has come around full circle to where our music is still right on the edge as far as like a college sound or something.
Big demand for 50-year-old rock guys that didn't make it.
Not so much for the guys. Not so much.
Here, let Steve give his take on things.
Yeah, well,
let Steve talk.
I will, but I just want to say this one thing. Not so much for us individually, but for the songs. And so my hope is that, you know, it'd be great to land a song somewhere on a movie soundtrack or on a TV show or something like that. A brief, for instance, you take a song like "What Does This Mean" would be excellent for something like NCIS or...
it's just like The Who. I think more maybe the Jersey Shore. What does this mean?
Well, don't fool yourself. I think a lot of people fool themselves. You know, they're songwriters. You know, you got to know how to write a good song. You know, and I'm not one that, you know. I come from the school of, you know, James Taylor, Jackson Brown, Joni Mitchell, Ricky Lee. You know, Led Zeppelin. You know, people were really writing great songs.
Right.
Songs that are today remembered.
Right.
Bands with, you know, they wrote not just great music, you know, lyrics, but the guitar parts were lyrical and musical as well. It was getting a lot of press. I got the radio airplay. I was recognized by the, you know, the AAA radio stations across the country. You know, it wasn't that I was not being looked at. I was being looked at. People, you know. But it was just that thing that they didn't know where to put me, because you had to fit into some, you know, peg thing, you know. Country, rock, you know. There wasn't a singer-songwriter title. You know, in my day, you know, those club owners booked you because they knew you and you alone. I packed the Short North Tavern. I packed the clubs that I played in. You know, we used to play Ruby Tuesdays 3-4 nights a week. We packed every night. One band. The clubs made money off of one band. I am so glad that I am not just starting off today. I would be overwhelmed. You know? I'd be overwhelmed.
There are many artists in town that I step on stage with, and I just feel honored to share the stage with them, because they have more talent literally in one hand than I have in my whole body, and I'm willing to admit that. They drip talent. But then you talk to them, and it's like, did you even tell anybody you were playing tonight? Well, isn't being talented enough? No, the answer is no, it's not.
You know, I'm always going to stick to my guns, and it's going to work out. You know, I have no doubt. It's just that I don't know what that looks like.
Like 98% of our information flow is controlled by 4 companies. They're interested in making money. And unfortunately, the truth is that what makes money isn't necessarily what's real.
Smoke my cigarettes, drink my wine, thinking of better things to do with my time. Thoughts of you have crept back into my mind, wondering when you're gonna leave me behind. It's like a broken painted pail, peace of mind. As I search for another version of you, I'll search until the searching's through. It's like a broken painted pail, gonna fall before you fail. With your back up against the rail, it's gonna be lightning with the hail.
And I catch the conversation of these guys behind me, you know, in between sets, and they're like, "Yeah, those guys are pretty good, yeah." And the one guy says, "I think I'm gonna buy their CD." And his buddy, I just hear the sigh. He's like, "Yeah, I just can't bring myself to pay for music anymore. I'll probably just go online and download it." And then I look out of the corner of my eye and I could see his friends conflicted, you know, like, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll buy the record and then I'll burn you a copy. So at least we're not quite so bad." And then they start laughing about it. And then the guy who said he was going to download it, he's like, "You know, I mean, I understand. I mean, this is a band of all bands who, you can tell they really need it. You know, they're on the road and they're broke and they could really use the money, but I just can't see myself paying for music." And it, you know, and that's the mindset I think we've got to get past. And that's what I'm saying. I think the indie in most people's minds means free. And if we're going to nurture artists and we want artists to continue to make music for a lifetime, we have to compensate them for what the value that they bring. I would love to see a group of really talented artists from Columbus, not necessarily in the same genres, doing similar things, creating opportunity, and something that's lasting. You know, something that artists that come up behind us, maybe they don't have to spend 5 years in total anonymity, you know, playing at, not that there's anything wrong with it, but, you know, playing the covers in the corner of an Irish pub. You know, just to try to get their music out somewhere. That we've created an audience for music. You know, and not just a specific group, but for music in general, for arts in general.
He runs up the hill. He hides from it all. When does the story change? He thinks that it will, then falls off the Great Wall. The story's always so strange. The story's always so strange. But whatever happened to playing and singing with the sun and the moon and the stars? I'm not gonna sing anymore. I'm not gonna sing anymore.
We were talking about like being rejuvenated the other night. It's really true. It's like you become young again by hearing the stuff that you played when you were young, you know? Yeah. And other than smell, I think sound is one of the strongest things that encodes that kind of memory.
He knows there must be a way. But whatever happened to playing and singing with the sun?
Getting back together, for me, it's the camaraderie of spending time with these guys. It's the shows themselves, like the show Saturday Night. That was like a whirlwind of, it just went by so fast, and trying to catch up with so many people in the show and everything. But the rehearsals, spending quality time with you guys, the camaraderie of that, because being in a band with someone it's beyond a brotherhood. It's almost,
a marriage.
It is, it's like a marriage.
I wanted to celebrate
a lot of different reunions in my life and thank a lot of people for the blessings that I have. And to be completely honest, the real impetus is because in the last few years I've buried quite a few people way before their time. And I got very tired of seeing old friends and family at places such as that. And I decided that I was going to be turning 50 and I was a big boy and I could take the riddling, and I wanted to get together and I wanted to have a very, very large party where people could get together and have a great evening. And I was going to do everything I could to pull the old band together and make sure that we had a great evening of food and entertainment, and I was going to make sure that we did it right. And I asked these guys, and they graciously said they'd get together. Tom recently got together with us last week, but the rest of us actually put in a little bit of time. That is why we decided to do this, and they all graciously accepted. And it has been really a joy to get back together and play. And I don't know what we'll do. Everybody has got very busy lives, but I certainly would play with these guys anytime we have an opportunity that we could at least put in a couple days of rehearsal. So.
Be by yourself.
We live in the 12th largest city in the country. And what percentage of those people do you think actually go out and appreciate live art on a regular basis, once a month? You know, to me, like if you live in Austin, when I lived in Detroit, it was, what are we going to do on a Friday night? We can go see a movie, we can go see a play, we can go watch live music. We could, you know, I mean, there was like 5 or 6 that you can go to the casino. I don't know. There's like, you know, there's a group of things, but music and live art was in that. In Columbus, I feel like you talk to most people, and it's what are we going to do on a Friday night? We'll go drink, we'll go to a movie, we'll go out to dinner, and that's it. You know, it's like art is not a piece of that fabric, and I think as a community, we've succeeded when we've changed the mindset of the city, of 1 million people, to say that when we go out on Friday night, live performance, whether that's, you know, comedy, whether that's improv, whether that's you know, some of the different playwright guilds that are in town, whether that's local music, whatever that is, for people to take in live entertainment and appreciate the local arts community. If we can reprogram the mindset of Columbus to take that in as a factor, then I think we all succeed. I think we make that pie much bigger than it is right now, and we're not all fighting over the same $10.
I think there's a real community that tries to help one another, and if they can, you know, Columbus is a friendly town, and so if someone can help someone else, there's no better service that we can do than just, you know, pump some love into the world and make the world a better place. And every day, if you smile at somebody, they smile back. It's as simple as that. So you help someone, it comes back to help you.
Pursue music in some way. You know, some people might not be cut out to sing and play songs in front of a big group of people. Other people might not be the lead guitar player shredding on top of a Marshall Stag. But music is a universal language that connects people, and the worst thing you can do is discourage people from learning that language.
Really, wouldn't it be a beautiful place if people would just stop being so materialistic and go, you know what, I really dig painting and I'm a good artist. You know, I'm gonna, you know, but it is a lot of work.
Please come see us soon, and if you ever see us and you haven't met us, please come up and talk to us, because we love meeting new people. So that's what I would say. What about you? Yep.
Find your niche of that, what kind of music you're into. There's definitely a market for everything. So I think that's really like the trick to kind of surviving, and just to keep, you know, if you're making a quality product, you know, hopefully some good things will come to you. If you're making good music, hopefully that will be respected, but you just have to kind of keep going at it.
If you appreciate music and you appreciate local artists, show them, treat them like you would any other business. We don't go into Kroger and expect, to get a 2-liter of Pepsi for free. We don't feel like we're donating to a charity when, we go buy a bottle of wine from the local liquor store. So when we go to see artists, recognize that they've poured themselves into the product that they're presenting.
Stop messing around. Do something. Do it well. And have a good time doing it. Quit getting caught up in all this stuff. It doesn't matter. Enjoy yourself. Find something that you love and go full force. Go at it. Because it could be over like that.
could you ever know how deep the waters go if you never touched the shore? How could you ever judge or even hold a grudge when it's all been done before? As the years they pass without this life's chance of weaving this grand design, as the silence goes deep within our grasp, can our hearts still align? How could you ever be one within this world when you care for no one else? How could you ever see this calm simplicity when you put it on the shelf? Oh no. How could you ever see smug naivety when there's so much more to know? How could you ever been to simple-minded green as the soul begs us to go? Oh no. As the years they pass without this life's chance of weaving this grand design, as the silence goes deep within our past, can our hearts still align?